We're back with another episode of Lakers Latest. I'm Gerald Glassford, the host of the Lakers Latest podcast, part of the Fan Arc Network. There it is. Be part of what we're doing today by liking and subscribing so you can get the latest notifications on when I go live on the air with the latest Lakers Latest podcast right here for you. Plus, my friends who upload this video for this channel, go ahead and give them some love because the Fan Art Network does a great job. They work hard to bring you so many different shows covering so many different teams each and every day, each and every week. And you can only get access to it, or at least be reminded of it, by checking out what they're doing today on YouTube at the Fan Art Network, and also liking and subscribing as well. Well, the Lakers came into today celebrating the 27th birthday of Luka Doncic by heading into the Bay Area to go ahead and face off against the Golden State Warriors, depleted Golden State Warriors. And we already fell into this trap before on Thursday with Phoenix, a depleted team against a mostly healthy, outside of Rui with the illness, mostly healthy Los Angeles Lakers team. What would happen as they would go into the Bay Area to face off against the Golden State Warriors in the Chase Center? Well, I'll tell you what, right from the get-go, this was what the doctor ordered. After one of the most frustrating weeks of the entire season, after 3 terrible losses where they got a beat down from Boston and 2 straight disappointing losses against Orlando and Phoenix, the Lakers finally strung 4 quality quarters together, and it started off really fast for the Lakers. They got off to a great start, getting hot from 3 early. The Lakers set the tone with a 33-20 lead. The lead in the first half never got down. Once it went up to around 20, 24, that never got down to below 14 points. And in the third quarter, the birthday boy himself, watching the rest of his team really set the tone, or setting the tone for this team in that first half, took over at the start of the third quarter right away with a couple bombs from 3 that really just put that dagger in there. And from there on in, it got even much more comfortable as the Lakers kicked the lead up to 30 points and beyond and never looked back as they won each and every quarter on their way to an easy, thank goodness, man, we needed this, 129-101 victory. The Lakers are now 35-24, still 6th place in the Western Conference. A little bit more breathing room from Phoenix in the Western Conference. Still, they're right now in their own island because they're a game and a half up on Phoenix, but a game and a half behind the triumvirate of Houston, Denver, and Minnesota. So I don't see any real movement right now for the Lakers, even if they win against Sacramento, which they should on Sunday. But we'll go ahead and talk about that here in a bit. But yes, overall, a really good game. I wish you could just capture it, put it in a bottle, and just be able to use it when you need it, because these are the type of performances that you need. You got an efficient LeBron James, 22 points, 7 of 13 overall, 4 of 6 from 3, actually shooting his threes well, 9 assists and 7 rebounds as well. DeAndre Ayton, while he didn't give you too much in the scoreboard, wasn't needed. He did give you 10 rebounds. Austin Reeves, 18 points. I know that's under his average, but a very efficient 7 of 11 and also 50% from 3. But the bench themselves, with not 1 but 2 great performances, exactly what the worst scoring bench in the league needed. Luke Kennard, 4 of 7 from 3, 16 points. He finally ran some plays for him, and he was aggressive behind the arc. The key stat for me is 4 of 7. 7 shots, him taking behind the arc. Absolutely, the Lakers are more, or at least have a better chance of success when he's putting up from 3. 16 points from him, and 1 point behind, not too far behind, Jake LaRavia with 15 on 3 of 6 from beyond the arc and 6 of 10 overall. absolutely what you needed as the Lakers. Again, they do get the victory 129 to 101. They put it in cruise control after that quick start to the third quarter by Luka Doncic. And while we're at it, want to go ahead and say a big happy birthday to Luka Doncic as he celebrated his 27th birthday. Before the game, the Lakers went ahead and celebrated with him in person, gave him a big cheers, absolutely all over social media, and a big song. Don't ask him to me to go ahead and, you know, sing that with them because, it sounded pretty off key as is. But yes, they did sing him happy birthday. They wished him well. And it was a good moment for a team miserable at each other's throats. DeAndre Ayton, doesn't want to be compared to the Lakers version of Clint Capella and all that stuff that went on, that's been going on this week. The fingers being pointed everywhere, the testiness and the frustration levels high. Austin Reeves said, what is, when asked what the frustration level, he said very high. This was exactly the birthday wish that the Lakers needed with an easy victory, 129 to 101. Cannot stress how much it was needed, especially the fact that Luka himself, again, put the capper up. The best part about it was seeing the rest of the team being as efficient as they needed to be. We talked about how Luka was efficient in his last game. Yes, other things and other facets of the game, maybe he didn't perform as well on, but he was efficient shooting, which is what you need today, which made a lot of people happy. Less shots from him, only 17 shots, 9 of which he made, 4 of 9 from 3, 4 of 4 from the line. Absolutely another efficient shooting day from him. And no, while it was not his season average, it was definitely what the doctor needed overall because the team stepped up in that first half to really take control of this game. And then he closed the door on the Golden State Warriors, which is absolutely great to see. And I understand it comes against a very depleted team. So I don't want to put too much into it because, again, like in Phoenix, where they should have done the same thing to Phoenix with a depleted team there, the Golden State, no Curry. Oh, actually, both Currys. Porzingis, Butler, all out of the lineup. They need to do this to this type of team, and that's what they did. And again, the victory. Again, you got to play who's on the schedule, and they did, and they played it about as well as you could with the easy victory, 129 to 101. 35 and 24 right now, all alone in sixth place in the Western Conference. Can they start making a move back up in the standings? Well, it has to start on Sunday night because they play host at 6:30 p.m. Pacific to the Sacramento Kings. Looking forward to that. The Kings, even though they've been a little bit feisty as of late, there is still a team that does not want to go ahead and be any more successful than they have to be. Obviously trying to line themselves up for last place overall in the NBA. And right now they are still holders of the worst record in the league with only 14 wins. And I think they want to keep it that way. So I am looking forward to good things. Pinty, give him a shout out once again. He was asking before the Golden State game if they were going to go ahead and win. And I said, yes, I felt on a day, I was just feeling like on a day where you're playing that depleted team. And I'm not going too far out on a limb when you say that, when you saw what they had on the other side of the roster there for Golden State. But I just felt that this team with Luka's birthday was going to make some type of concerted effort to focus a little bit better for their teammate and for the star player of the team. And I'm glad that they did that going forward. It shows a good sign for the team that possibly things can turn around in a positive way. And if you have thoughts on the game, what you liked, what you didn't like, but I don't know how many things you really can't take away that you didn't like from it, but please let me know in the comments below. Again, a solid performance from the team. And I definitely want to go ahead and when they have these type of victories that they go out and do exactly what they need to do, that they get lauded for it. as well. So yes, absolutely want to go ahead and compliment them on it, because it's nice. It's nice when we have days like these when we can really throw flowers at the Lakers, and I'm looking forward to that. But before we head on out, again, we're going to go ahead and be here tomorrow with your recap of the Lakers and Kings and get you set up for the week. Want to go ahead and hit your comments up. Again, I truly appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day to go ahead and stop on by with your thoughts and just checking us out. And if you like and subscribe, it is really appreciated. Matthew Youngman, in reply to my comments that I posted on the site, as well as on the video from yesterday, I do appreciate him coming back at me here. He said, I agree with you that there's a bigger picture, but I believe what many are missing is that the Hayes defensive stats prove he is a much more important piece than what many top podcasters are saying. Last year was proof of this play after taking over for AD, and he helped to get the Lakers to a third seed. I kind of disagree with you there. While it did look good during the season, his inability, defensive awareness, I think, was the issue his first couple years on the team. His defensive awareness was not where it needed to be. And the fact that, obviously his strength was an issue at that time because of how well he was overpowered in that first round. But he did give the Lakers initially a spark after that trade with some really solid play during the season. But if you come to know what I do on my other channel and then also this channel as well, I've tried to focus on these players in the postseason and what they may be like in the postseason. And as we saw in the postseason, he just couldn't get it to where he needed it to be, where the Lakers needed it to be. And ultimately, when it came down to it, Hayes found himself benched to the point where he wouldn't even be played by JJ in that second half, in the famous game where they only played 5 guys the entire half, which was disappointing to see. And should they have played and given Hayes a chance and other players a chance during that game? Yes. Would it have made a difference? I don't know. Again, it's up to you guys to go ahead and determine that. But Jackson Hayes this year has been better on the defensive end than he has been in previous years. He's been more of a rim presence, a rim protector. He's been more available to be I guess, a player that can go ahead and defend at the rim. Quite often, he would find himself out of position on the other side of the key or outside on the perimeter when the ball has been taken inside in previous years. That's what the key issue, I think, for a lot of people outside of his sometimes rebounding challenges, because he's not the greatest of rebounders. Let's just be frank here. He's okay, but he's not someone who is going to be counted on to get double-digit rebounds in that starting position if he were to take care of that for a entire season per se. But I think he's okay as rebound. It's not something where it's, I guess, Robin Lopez like, not Robin Lopez, but Lopez like as far as that way, or what we see from Triple J as far as like Brook Lopez when he was a really big scorer in Brooklyn, but couldn't rebound or didn't rebound as much, or what we saw from Triple J in his time in Memphis, where he was doing everything as far as being a shot blocker, scorer, stretching it out, but is just not a rebounder. Hayes is a little bit better than that as far as a rebounder, but again, as someone that you want to count on for a playoff run, again, he had his opportunity and needs to have that another opportunity again if he wants to see. But I think where he's at is finding his niche in the league as far as a 20 to 25 minute player coming off the bench, working with Luka on the pick and rolls, taking advantage of that. I think is probably the best we're going to see from Jackson Hayes going forward. I think that's probably where he is best suited. When you push too much on his plate, when you ask for him to do too much, that's where you start to see the cracks in what is, comes with his game. And again, is he a full-time starter in the NBA? At this point, he might be a starter coming up in the NBA if we continue to see DeAndre Ayton where he's at, because this DeAndre Ayton experience is not going well for the Lakers. Again, 4 points, 10 rebounds, but his attitude and a lot of could get his teammates, to put them off in the wrong way. So don't be surprised if he gets another opportunity. Hayes does as a starting center. Is he going to be a starting center for you going forward? I think you need to look for other areas or other players to be a starting center going forward, to be a more consistent, high value center in the league. But Jackson Hayes as a backup center, that's probably is the role he is best suited for. And his defensive awareness, again, this year is substantially better than it's been in its 2 seasons. So wanted to go ahead and finish off what Matthew had as far as comments is concerned. The big three is the problem, as is the team sports. The big three need to be trusting their teammates more, which they can't because of the inconsistency. That's true. Their rest of the team has been inconsistent all year long, but he said that's not on Jackson Hayes. But Jackson Hayes is a very limited player. He knows exactly who he is and what he can do, but because he doesn't stretch it out for three, even though he is 100% from three, but he's taken, I think, 1 or 2 shots. And I think he's keeping that 100% from three percentage. I don't think he wants to shoot very much more this season. But he cannot stretch it out. He knows exactly his shooting range. He knows exactly who he is as a player. And a limited player like that only can get you so far. But yes, he has been by far and away the most consistent player on the bench that has been strictly a bench player. I'm not counting Laravia or Smart because those guys have been in the starting lineup so much due to injury, but he has been a consistent player in a bench that has not been very consistent this season. Hayes is a certified bucket, so okay. If the pick and roll is clicking, then you can say he is a certified bucket. If him and Luka are playing and that's what the focus is, then definitely you can go ahead and get some easy points with him and get him involved in that way. But in the playoffs, I'm not sure if you noticed in the playoffs that they when he was in there and starting for the Lakers, Minnesota clogged up the key a little bit more to try and prevent those easy baskets that were normally very easy for him to get on the pick and roll. So again, he can be schemed off the floor as we saw in that first round against Minnesota. But again, I think he's had a really good season. He's always shot 70% from the field with the Lakers, but he's shooting even better than that. And again, his defensive awareness this season, as far as being more on the ball, being more active in the play, and not getting himself caught away from where the action is, he's been getting himself involved in the mix more often than not, is a good sign for the Lakers going forward if they wish to retain him for the future. And since he has such a good dichotomy with Luka, wants to become a Slovenian, get his Slovenian citizenship or passport per se, so he can play with Slovenia and Luka on their Olympic team, then again, I see him wanting to stay in LA for a while as a option coming off the bench for the Lakers going forward. And again, if the DeAndre Ayton experience continues to progress or digress as where it is leading to, then I'm assuming at some point in time JJ will get tired of the Clint Capella conversations that DeAndre Ayton wants to have, and put Jackson Hayes out there and give him a shot once again as a starter and see where it goes from there. But again, I don't know. Again, as far as the smaller podcasters are concerned, Matthew, that's up to them on how they see it. But again, Hayes is where he's at. He is been a nice, I guess, positive part of the Lakers team, which needs a lot of nicer, more positive things to happen for them in order to find their way a little bit higher in the standings. But I'm hoping, again, for continued success for Hayes going forward. He has found his niche. He has found his guy that he likes to work with and gel with on a pick and roll basis. And again, I'm wishing him much success in the league, and we'll see what happens. But I do thank you for subscribing. It is great to have you here. And again, to have Jackson Hayes a part of what they're doing on the bench, and hopefully if Aiton doesn't continue to work out, he may be finding himself with another chance and an opportunity as a starter coming up here, maybe in the not too distant future. One more Clint Capella outburst, and that may do it. That may do it indeed. But before we head on out, Craig, great to have you here, my friend. If the Lakers can't win versus Golden State, which they did, it's time to tank. Get the best draft pick you can. Put Austin or LeBron on the second unit. You were not the first to say that, Craig. I know a lot of people have said that. Pinty has said it. Other people have said it. Someone even mentioned on the post game tonight show I did on my other channel that if I guess they wanted Luka coming off the bench as a bench player. So. Uh, Good luck with those conversations. For every person that says that, I'd like you to go ahead and tell LeBron and Luca to that. Now, if it were that type of world and you could and you have that power, why not? I have no problem on that. But Austin, again, as we said, on a championship team, is probably a six-man best suited for that role because of how that would fit and or integrated with that as far as a guy who probably would be better off feasting off of the players coming off the bench more often than what he does now. But again, we'll have to wait and see how that works out. JJ, it's not working. Use some of these young players and put them in the lineup to give some players 5 minutes rest. The young players, again, when it comes to young players, outside of Dude Thiero, I don't mind giving some of these young players a boost, but some of these young players, I don't see futures where they, at this point, where the Nick Smith Juniors, the Bronny James, the Drew Timmies, the Kobe Buffkins, I just don't see these guys continually being guys that you can count on going forward to build your foundation for the team. These guys might be end of the roster guys for the foreseeable future. Adu Thiero is the only one that a lot of people have hope for. I would have to see it. I don't. He's just never on the floor, on an NBA floor, long enough to see if he can develop in that. I know he's been playing all week with Bronny James in the G League. Those two got sent down, but I need to see more of him at an NBA level. So yes, maybe it is time to integrate some of the guys in there as far as the younger guys and see what can happen. I know Nick Smith Jr. has his flaws, but he can give you at least a little bit of offense. Same thing with Drew Timmy. Same thing with Kobe Buffkin. But are these guys players that are going to be part of your foundation going forward? I don't think so. The only one is Thiero. But again, we don't know exactly what Thiero can and cannot do yet at the NBA level. We just have not got a chance to see it. So maybe we should see more of Thiero at the very least. Change the starting lineup in the second half to give it a boost. This game notwithstanding, Craig, I could see that happening. Shake things up, period, as far as the starting lineup with maybe at what I talked about. If Ayton continues his Clint Capella isms, maybe it's time to put Jackson Hayes in there. Maybe it's time to go ahead and put LaRavia ahead of Marcus Smart if that doesn't continue to go well. So again, we will wait and see if the Lakers take the schedule as it is and be able to start racking up some wins. This is all for naught, but if it continues to go the way it has been going, like earlier this week, then definitely you have to think about shaking up the lineup and rotation in some way, shape, or form. But getting younger players in there, I like to see Thiero. I like to see Thiero because I don't know if I have an opinion fully formed on him as of yet because he's not just played. He's not played at all. I don't know how you can have an opinion if he can play the NBA game or not yet because we have to see him out there on the floor in competitive play, not in garbage time, in competitive NBA play, indeed. I get frustrated for one evening, but after your show with your post games, it's gone. But it's about an 8. You call me down to a 2. Well, I'm glad I could be here for you as a sign of calm. Again, I know that a lot of people are frustrated. I felt the frustration throughout the Lakers fandom, and also as well, I saw it with the team. You could see it how bad it was with the team leading into the game with Golden State, but you could also see it among the fan base, and there it depends on how testy they get with each other and what they're saying. I mean, a great example is Matthew. Matthew has been, his response today was much more tempered, much more understanding. His first comment was based a lot off emotion, and I get that. I understand it. Right now, you see this team where it's at, and you're hoping with the three big names the Lakers have, it can be better. But the Lakers have a lot of flaws with their team. Let's just be frank. And with those flaws, it's just hard to sustain a level play defensively or talent wise that they can match up with some of the top teams in the league. It's really hard for them to do so. But if everything goes right, maybe they can make an imprint later on the season and in the playoffs, but everything would have to go right, I think, for them to do that, especially what it's looking like right now. I mean, could they play well against Houston in the first round the way it matches up right now with third through sixth? Yes. But after that, you'd be getting into a matchup against a number two seed, San Antonio, who then you're counting on their inexperience, relative inexperience, then per se. A lot has to go right. And then you're hoping that if you meet up against an OKC, that there might be some injuries involved as well. So again, a lot would have to go right with this team because it just talent wise, what you see is just not where I think this team needs to be. But hopefully it can last into a long run for the Lakers into the playoffs. But if you guys have thoughts out there, I just want to go ahead and say thank you for doing so. I try to bring out your comments each and every time out. I'm hoping you enjoying that aspect of it. So again, if you have thoughts on the Lakers win, on the Lakers in general, DeAndre Ayton, Jackson Hayes, do you think the time is now for Jackson Hayes to go ahead and get another opportunity as the starting center for the Los Angeles Lakers? We want to hear your thoughts. I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind it at all. I mean, at this point, DeAndre Ayton has been about what I thought he would be, just up and down and grumbling. And this is who he was in his previous stops. And the fact that we got him on a cheaper basis, I think that's the only silver lining to all this is all that. So we will have to wait and see how this pans out. But the Lakers are at Sacramento. Excuse me, the Lakers are playing against Sacramento. They are home for Sacramento. I'm sorry about that. Let me correct myself. Lakers will be at the Crypto.com arena for a matchup against the Sacramento Kings. It's at 6:30 p.m. Pacific time, so go ahead and check it out there. And after the game, I will, of course, drop for you for a Monday morning Lakers latest. Looking forward to it. Also later in the week, I want to go ahead and hopefully be able to drop the second part of my thoughts on what the Lakers need to do to go ahead and address the major issues going forward. So hopefully you will be able to look forward to that as well. But I wanted to thank you again for stopping by, wishing Luca a happy birthday, and wishing you a fantastic weekend. Go Lakers from all of us right here at Lakers Latest. Thanks so much, everyone, and have yourself a great day.